I had someone that I consider a loyal client try to book me. When it got closer to the day that she wanted to book me, I reached out for some additional detail, and I realized that y'all might need an update on where I'm at, what I'm doing, so on and so forth. I just wanted to come here, give you all an update really quick, kind of reintroduce myself, and go from there. My name is Tiara. I go by T. I am a self-taught MUA and a licensed esthetician in the state of California. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I moved to Los Angeles in 2020 with the hopes of landing in Vegas within a couple of months of that time frame. A week after I moved here, the pandemic kicked off, so it put my original plan on hold, and now we're almost 4 years this month, like post original move. I'm still in Los Angeles, so I've traveled back and forth from Los Angeles to St. Louis multiple times to take clients. I do like beauty tours out there, just so my clientele there won't feel like I left them hanging. The plan when I originally moved to Los Angeles was to only be here for a couple of months. That changed because of the pandemic, so I ended up being here longer than anticipated, waiting on the housing crisis in Vegas to end. I went up, I found an apartment, got approved for said apartment, and I was just waiting on availability to open up. About a year after I had originally been approved for the apartment, there hadn't been anything opened up. So within that year, I had to get my footing here in Los Angeles. The waiting game was over. I had to really come to terms that the move to Vegas more than likely wasn't going to be happening. The pandemic threw a wrench in my original plans to move to Vegas. And as I started making my way in Los Angeles, things just happened and the move was completely off my radar. Some of the factors that played a part in my decision to kind of try to stick it out in LA was obviously the pandemic and the fact that I wasn't able to make that move to Vegas, so I had to figure it out from there. When I started putting in applications to be a makeup artist here in the area, a common denial that I got was because of the fact that I was not licensed in any way, shape, or form. Now, each state has their own like rules and regulations as it relates to the beauty industry and what the requirements are for certain services that can be performed, so on and so forth. It was different. And it caught me off guard because in Missouri, you can freelance. Like doing what I was doing, you can freelance. And that's always what I've known. I never for a moment considered that it'd be any different anywhere else. So that was like quite a shock when I learned that, and that became like a consistent theme throughout my process of applying to makeup jobs. And I realized that I am going to have to figure out how to get licensed. Now, in Missouri, I had previously considered being licensed or becoming a certified makeup artist through a program like Sephora, or who else had MAC had a makeup certification program, so on and so forth. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fine. Like, I'll be fine. It's not a big deal. I know a couple of places that certify makeup artists, so I'll just go that route and get the paperwork that I need in order to do makeup here. So cut to, we're still in the pandemic, right? And so when I was doing my research on these particular programs to see which one I maybe wanted to join, what I was finding out is that MAC and Sephora both stopped their makeup artist certification program. And that came as a complete shock to me because who else certifies makeup artists? So obviously that took a little bit more research for me to do. I had to kind of break it down and see what my options were, and the only option that I saw as a possibility, which obviously ended up working out, was to become a licensed esthetician. Now, in my years spent in St. Louis, I had considered being an esthetician, but the issue was I didn't have the money for it. if y'all know anything about like financial aid, school, college, the story for me basically is I used all of my financial aid up in undergrad, getting that degree. I used my Pell Grant. So when it came to me wanting to attend school at this age, I had no support. At the time, I didn't make enough to be able to afford, because I was still working on a Missouri-based salary. So I didn't make enough to afford living in California on a Missouri-based salary and tucking a few ducats away for school, you know, for any type of schooling, for any type of programming. It was like I was so financially unstable during that point that I couldn't even afford to take clients. Like I couldn't afford to keep stuff in my kit or kind of revamp my kit. Transportation became an issue at one point. We moved away from the area that like I would think would be a prime area for a makeup artist. We moved to a town where what I am doing isn't really in demand. I have to travel probably 2 to 2.5 hours a day in order to be in the spaces that I needed to be in, and I just could not do it at that time. Long story short, I went ahead and did my research on esthetician programs out here, and I mentioned it to my sister that, you know, that was kind of the only option I had really if I did want to come down here or, you know, be here and do makeup. So her little smart self. So one day my sister came to me and told me that she had received a email about a scholarship for former foster youths to go to beauty school. And so I did my research. I dug in. It was a legitimate scholarship opportunity. And the only thing that I had to do was create a 3-minute video explaining kind of who I was, what my place was in the beauty industry, and why the scholarship is something that I would want and how it would benefit me. So I applied for the scholarship, and a couple of months later, or a month or so later, I found out that I had been awarded the scholarship, which was amazing. And I didn't start school until almost a year later in 2022. I had to do my own research to see what school it was that I wanted to go to. I had a school in mind. I drove to go tour the school, meet with the owner, ask questions about the curriculum, so on and so forth. The school I really wanted to go to ended up being about an 1.5 to a 2-hour drive each way, and obviously that wasn't feasible. There weren't really many options as far as esthetician schools or programs were concerned, and I really had to like just trust God throughout this entire process. I was so afraid to take the wrong step and attend the wrong school. Again, I had done my research, so I kind of knew what schools to avoid. Every school I wanted to avoid was a school near me. Full transparency, it took me about a year to figure out and actually begin attending what school it was that I wanted to go to for multiple reasons. During that time, I lost my father, so going to esthetician school wasn't a priority. I had to deal with that emotionally. That was a very big loss for my family. So I had to sit with that for a minute and get to a point where I was okay enough to really be able to hone in on this opportunity and make it, you know, make it count, because I never want to take resources from the community and then just waste them. So I know myself, so I needed to give myself that time to heal. I ended up starting school about a year after I was granted the scholarship. And the scholarship team, they were super understanding and, you know, supportive during that time. And I'm sure their focus was making sure that the opportunity is something that I could benefit from. So I really appreciate the scholarship team for their patience through that time. But I started school, and it was supposed to be technically an 8-month program, that's a long time, y'all know. And like it's quite some time. So I wanted to get it done quicker. I was working at the same time, and I started a new job and all of this stuff. So it was very interesting. So I ended up, you know, going to school, getting it done in a 5-month time frame. I was able to take my esthetician exam and pass the first time. So that was a blessing. That happened last year So in 2023, I graduated in July. I graduated in April, ended up taking my esthetician exam in June and being licensed in June. Well, in esthetician school, I had planned on going solo. And throughout esthetician school, we started learning about like startup costs and things of that nature. And once again, that I didn't have it. I just did not have it. So another girl, she joined the class and she ended up being a licensed massage therapist at the big popular like ritzy kind of spa out here in my area. And so in school, you have to give, provide services to your peers and to paying customers. So one of the services I provided was a facial for this woman, and she loved her facial so much that she told me to apply at this particular spa. She was like, they need you. They absolutely would love you. I would be your recommendation. So I thought I had a foot in the door. But when it came down to it, I did the legwork, you all. I looked for positions that were available. I applied for said positions. I went up there a couple of times and just waited around to, hopefully speak to the person that was doing the hiring for that particular position, just to kind of show face, pass my resume off in person. One thing that I've learned about myself, I come off better in person. Like, my resume is standard, it's a standard resume. I have a 4-year degree, honestly limited experience in that area, some experience, but not what people would typically require for a position such as the one I was applying for. But in person, my personality radiates, and that's what hooks the people. So with me knowing that, I always try to show up, I always try to show face. It's just, do it, right? Take my recommendation, definitely give it a go. And doing that has always worked for me. I've gotten just about every single job that I've applied to by using that method. It's a proven method for sure. This particular job, however, I never got to speak to anybody. Like, I went up there a few different times actually and waited around to speak to the person, and the lady was never available. I don't know if that was like intentional or what, but no matter what, I'd called, confirmed that she was there. I'd show up. People would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get her. And she'd send them out and they'd be like, oh, she's in a meeting, da 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 da. And so at some point I just, I was over it and I wanted to look at other options. So I started applying to other places as far as like aesthetic services are concerned, like different chains and things of that nature around here. So like European Wax Center, Burke Williams, which is a really nice spa out here. And all of those folks told me that they couldn't hire me because they require experience. And my thing is, how do people expect, and I know this isn't groundbreaking or anything, I know other people have asked this, time and time again, but how do these employers expect us to gain experience if they're not hiring us for these jobs to get experience in? That's what I want to know. That's something that has never made sense to me. And I don't think it'll ever make sense because that doesn't make sense. I mean, you have to luck up and literally find an employer that is willing to take you on and train you, and that's just really, I don't like that. I then started reconsidering going solo again and again. I kind of looked at the budget, looked at the funds, all of this stuff. It's just, I can't do it, y'all. I can't do it. So I got frustrated because this is something that I've wanted for so long. This is the one thing that would allow me to get to the next level, at least, here, until I figured out the steps to the bigger picture. And I'm being met at every turn with a no. And that's just, y'all know, like, for those who know me, y'all know me, baby. This is a dream we not giving up on, okay? And I execute every time. I kill it every time. I'm a pleasant person. I'm all of the things a person will want on their team or should want on their team. And for some reason, things just weren't working out. And so with that being said, I fell into, you know, a little bit of a depression because honestly, I watch people like live their dreams all the time, you know, and this is a dream like that I've had for quite some time, and I've tried every which way I knew to make it work. So it became a little frustrating and overwhelming, and not that I wasn't happy for the people around me or the people that I saw or followed. It's not that I wasn't happy for their success, but also fighting tooth and nail for mine, you know? Like, it's just, y'all, I've been doing makeup for over 10 years. I've been chasing this dream for about that long, right? I've wanted this for so long, and it just seemed like nothing was really catching on. Like the opportunity just wasn't there, and I never in a million years imagined it being so hard to break into the beauty industry in Los Angeles, California. There are people who want to be beautiful just about everywhere around this place, right? There are award shows, and down the street, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Vegas in the first place, because the bridal industry there, obviously you all know, like destination weddings and, you know, elopements and, you know, all that. So I just saw Vegas as an opportunity to break into that. And when I got stuck in Los Angeles, and stuck is a harsh word because I am 1000% hands down grateful. I know you lying. What are they building? I am 100% grateful to be able to live in Los Angeles. Like, I know that's a dream. Living in Los Angeles is a dream that some people have their entire lives. So I do recognize that I am blessed in that sense. But, you know, I think that it's okay to, like, be appreciative for the moment you're in, but to also want more. So that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. I don't see LA. It's already been 4 years. So I feel like I've given my time. And if it hasn't caught on here. And then just to go back to give you all a little bit more backstory, I've even started applying, like during those times I was applying for those esthetician positions and things of that nature. I even like defaulted and started applying for corporate positions within my degree field. And that went the same way. It's always someone with more experience. That's just what it comes down to. It was something that I desperately needed and I didn't get. I was defeated, you all. I was defeated. And whenever I get defeated, when I get in that state, I do one of two things. I sit in that state and I wallow, I guess you can say. And that can throw me into a deep depression. To get myself out of that, what I do is I go to St. Louis. I take a month or two off from work in my life here. Thank God I work in the service industry, so taking a couple of months off is not that big of a deal. I take that time off, I go to St. Louis, and I do what I love. I spend time doing what I love, and that always brings me back. So for those times that I've been in St. Louis and I stay for an extended period of time, that's just me reviving myself, like getting back to my loyal clientele and, you know, doing what I love, because I don't take clients here. I don't have any clients here. Like, I get maybe 1 or 2 clients, and it's like pulling teeth getting them, but I get like 1 or 2 clients a year here, and that's crazy to me. And that is outside of the people who travel in from St. Louis and book me because they know I'm here. But that's not enough for somebody who loves what who loves to do what they do, who lives, sleeps, and breathes not even makeup. House of the Betrothed, Tiara Linda artistry, Tiara Linda the brand. My future and my success is on my mind constantly. And it's tiring sometimes. it can be draining because it's like you're constantly fighting and you're constantly running towards a goal and you're always getting knocked off of the course and you always have to take some sort of detour. And before you realize it, you've been in the game 13 years. And though you've had success throughout, like moments of success, you're still not successful. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard pill to swallow. And the mantras or the lessons that I've learned from these times is, you know, obviously the standard of delayed, not denied. You know, keep working and it'll happen, so on and so forth. But that's kind of where I've been at. I'm not, you know, you don't see makeup content from me because I'm not out here doing makeup. So it's hard to, like, y'all don't want to see me. A lot of my followers follow me because I'm a makeup artist and they want to see me do makeup. But when you don't have clients, you just do makeup on yourself. And that's what I was doing through the pandemic. And I feel like folks got tired of me. I really do feel like folks got tired of me through the pandemic because I was always, you know, all I had was to post pictures of myself. I don't have clients, you know, not a consistent client base down here. I just don't. And that's the fact. That's the truth. And, you know, what do you do? What do you do? So now I'm here. I work a 9-to-5 like I always have. Since I left United Healthcare, I've worked in the service industry. I'm still in the service industry, just with a different company that I started with. And that's been nice. That first restaurant experience was a hot mess, y'all. Hot mess, let me tell you. And it's definitely not a time I want to revisit, like, ever, because that was a different level of stressful. But, you know, the people that I work for now, it's lit. I love them. They love me. Everybody gets along. They're willing to, you know, help develop and things of that nature. I've only worked there for a little over a year. I hit my year in January, and they've created a position for me as a leader on their front of house staff. So I'm in charge of, like, training, and I have my own budget to do certain things within the company. That's a blessing, but I also know that that's not anything that I want to do long term. And all the while, I'm trying to figure out how to make this work, how to make this makeup thing work. So the only thing that I can come up with at this point, and I still need to pray about it because I haven't done that yet, is to move back to St. Louis, kind of start from ground zero, and then see where we go from there, to see like what our options are from there, because I need to be in an area like California is beautiful and it has its perks and stuff like that, but I need to be where I can do what I love. I need to be in a place where I can do what I love, you know, and just have that consistently, because I get these jolts here where I'll have opportunities present themselves and I'll jolt at the opportunity and will execute, and you know, that gives me a little high for a minute, and then it'll be 3, 4, 5 months before I get another client. And I'm not used to that. I'm at the point where I'm ready to take this thing full time. Like, I don't want to split it between a 9-to-5. Like, I'm willing to until like it makes sense for me, but I don't want my 9-to-5 to be my primary income. And I honestly don't want a 9-to-5. I want this to pop off. I have bigger dreams. I have more goals. I have a lot of things that I want to do. So I'm just ready for the start of it all. And I don't see that happening here in Los Angeles. So I feel like I kind of went on a tangent with that thing. And so honestly, that's just where I'm at right now. I'm tired of waiting on success here in Los Angeles. And there are a lot of factors that I've taken into consideration when it comes to reconsidering my decision to possibly leave Los Angeles. And I honestly stand behind my decision to leave. In full transparency, don't know exactly when I'm going to be moving away from Los Angeles, but the next step as of right now is to move back home, rebuild my clientele, and then also build my brand that I have in mind. It's a bridal brand. If you don't know, though I still take all sorts of makeup appointments, I am focusing moving forward on bridal. That is the industry that I really want to conquer. I see myself as being the Anna Wintour of the bridal beauty industry. So with the double threat of being a licensed esthetician and an already amazing makeup artist, with, you know, at minimum a decade in the game, the next move is to go back home. Because when I moved out here, I just needed to get away. My biological mother had just died. I felt stagnant in St. Louis. I felt a lot of things about St. Louis, honestly. It wasn't just because of stagnation, but there was a lot going on around the time I moved, and I needed to step away. I needed that time away. So LA has been amazing for that. But when it comes to solidifying myself in the city that I seem like a future business in, I don't know if Vegas is still on the radar. Again, this is something that I need to pray about. I need to seek God, and we'll just go from there. As things happen and as decisions are made, I'll of course keep you all posted. But I did just want to take this opportunity to update you all on where I'm at, what I'm doing, how it's going, what the future holds, all of the things. I am willing to make as many moves as I need to make in order to make it, you know. So I got my first little taste of what life could be when I was back home before. So from the years of 2016 to February of 2020, I was doing makeup out of my apartment. If you know, you know. And I know, like, I knew if I ever moved back, I didn't want to do that. When I went back home, from September of 2023 to November of 2023. That was the first time I'd ever like rented a space to do makeup and makeup out of. And then I was also offering facial services and stuff like that. And that was a beautiful experience. And that's something that I want to tap further into. I want to see, you know, what is given. I loved it and I wanted to do it long term. I have to be honest with myself and acknowledge that I'm not ready for that yet. I can't expect with no clients to be able to cover $2,000 in booth rent a month. I can't do it. I can't do it. I ain't got it like that. I don't have investors. You know, it's just me on my own, and it's always just been me on my own. Like, nobody else has funded any portion of my dreams, like, at all. Okay, so anything that you've seen me do, like whether it be the attempts at like product launches, any type of like makeup class, any type of anything, I've always funded myself. You know, like I said, I have to be realistic in knowing that I'm not at that space yet. And I don't want to take too much on, because we've all seen what happens when you do too much too soon. You know, and that's just with life. Like, I don't ever want to run the risk of my business being taken away because financially I high-key can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just not on my radar. So I want to make sure I'm in a good position to get this done. I want to make sure that I'm considering all of my options carefully as it relates to my future. But that's where I'm at for now. I'm in Los Angeles working in the service industry, accepting clients here and there, and plotting my next move. If you're a bride or you're someone who loves all things beauty, I'm talking cosmetics, makeup, skincare, enhancements, treatments, and you support the bridal space, you're in the right spot. I invite you all to rejoin me in this journey in seeking success in the beauty industry. And with that being said, that's a little insight as to what's been going on with me, what future plans look like for me. I'm looking forward to it, but we got a long way to go. Follow me. Bye. Bye. Here it is.